Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 in this best of 3 between LGD International and DK. Team DK, a team that has struggled mightily as of late, but they finally put together a win in game 1, and it was on the back of a rather ridiculous comeback from them. They lost all their outer towers very early in the game. They were behind all game, but when it was all said and done, Burning and Super never died once. The supports, QQQ and Die, hardly did as well. RTK was shaky, but he delivered in the clutch when it counted, and DK, they bent, but they never broke. They turned around a game that looked all but lost, and LGD.int once again struggled to win a game past the 40-minute mark. I think they're currently 1-9 or 1-8 in games that go to that length. So a team that just generally doesn't angle for late game, generally struggles if they can't win early. They couldn't win early in game 1, and it cost them. I'm LD of Beyond the Summit, and I'm joined here today by Winter. Winter, how you doing?
Yeah, I felt that having the Necro books will definitely help them a lot after thinking about the game and how the game progressed. So I think Necromonicon could be one of the missing keys to their push lineup just now.
They also did not go for a pipe early, and it's understandable to some extent because they didn't really have the best heroes for it, but had they maybe tried to go for one, that could have helped them in the early game. Later on, it wouldn't matter against Alchemist, but in the early to mid game can make a big difference, and in the end, didn't go for either. They struggle, and DK, Winter, they showed they can win it late. They pick the best late-game initiator in the business. It's going to be the Magnus for them. LGD, they'll go for the Nyx, a strong counter, or not counter, but a strong mid-game controller in their own right. But DK, with this Mag first, there is a Keeper of the Light in the pool, and you know DK's got to be thinking, if you don't take it, we are.
Yeah, Keeper of the Light plus Magnus, good luck pushing against that.
Yeah. Good luck winning late game against that too, because you have Magnus. You get a carry. Carry's gonna do work.
5 seconds.
So LGD, what will they go for here? There's a Gyrocopter in the pool. There's a Chen in the pool. There's a Darkseer in the pool. There's a lot of heroes that they tend to pick. LGD, known for running their Nyx Assassin solo mid in most cases, so it will probably be G's hero this game, although it certainly doesn't have to be, which means, what do they go for here? They go for the Leshrac. So DK, I imagine they'll think about the Keeper of the Light here, but now they have to be a little bit worried about a potential offensive tri-lane from LGD, which would have a lot of stuns and a lot of burst damage if Nyx is there.
Yeah, the Leshrac pickup is very generally standard for LGD because Leshrac has the best stun 2 seconds to complement with the Nyx Assassin. If they want to run the Nyx plus Leshrac as their supporting duo, which I hardly see LGD do that. Mainly they have the Nyx as the solo mid.
So DK will opt for an early Dragon Knight pickup here. I think it's usually Burning who plays this. I don't think I've seen Super run it, but it's a hero that a lot of other teams prefer to run as their solo mid, so it's somewhat open for DK where they'll put these heroes, but it looks like a safe lane Dragon Knight, a solo mid Magnus, a Keeper of the Light as a part of a defensive dual lane or even tri-lane, and then, well, then we would be looking at a hero for RTK in the off lane, and then that secondary support and LGD. They'll go for a Tinker, so they'll go for some more map control, some global presence, and a hero that makes it much harder to defend your towers. Once you start spamming March, it's hard to stand and fight inside of that. But LGD going Tinker here. I've seen them run this in a number of ways, Winter. They've run it as a farmer in an offensive tri-lane. One of the supports stacking the Ancients, Barak's playing it in that case. I haven't seen them run it mid, but I'm sure they do. Most teams run them that way. Could even be a safe lane hero. What are your thoughts on this Tinker pickup?
I think it's generally because they want to split push. They have Nyx Assassin and Tinker. Nyx Assassin can just roam around the map and have the global support by Tinker to gang the enemy heroes. And DK has a very formidable stick and 5-man lineup. So I think it's a good way to deal with the 5-man of DK, which might come with the form of the Magnus and Dragon Knight and Keeper of the Light.
It's also a hero who can hunt the Keeper of the Light. You have Nyx. If Nyx is there and Tinker TP's in, throws a laser on top of it, throws a missile on top of it, it will be enough to get the kill in most cases, which means it can be a bit riskier for that Keeper of the Light to defend the towers.
Yeah, Keeper of the Light alone against a Nyx Assassin is already very, very bad for the Keeper of the Light. He always gets picked off by the spike characters when you're charging Illuminate, and if you get stunned by the spike, there's a good opening for the Nyx Assassin just to move up and stun you, and the Tinker to just drop a rocket on you, and you're just mostly, in most of the situation, dead.
DK, they fear the split push. They fear the eventual 5-man that can come. So they'll ban out the Luna here. There aren't many pushing carries left in the pool. I think the big one is the Lycan, which would sound odd if it wasn't LGD, but with LGD in the game, it's highly likely and possible that they could go for it. Not the strongest laner versus a hero like Magnus, so that might allow DK to get greedy if LGD goes for a Lycanthrope. But the Luna ban, and I guess the question is, what do DK do from here? Do they see this Tinker Nyx and say, we'll go for some more counter push of our own, we'll go for a third carry? Or do they basically just tighten the bolts and say, we want to play really defensively and go back for some strong turtling heroes?
They can still go for a more greedy lineup. Having the Magnus on the off lane, Dragon Knight on the mid lane, since they have a lot of anti-push abilities, it's quite possible that they will go for even more greedy lineup.
I feel like a Gyrocopter would be fantastic this game. If they can get him a BKB, what is LGD going to do against that? They have nothing. March of the Machines, that's it. A little bit of the Edict damage, that's it.
I prefer Alchemist again.
Oh, that could work. He's a little bit vulnerable in the early stages of the game to being burst down.
He has Empower this time.
Oh, God. Last game he had Inner Beast, which is still pretty disgusting on the Alchemist, but...
No, I prefer Empower.
Well, we'll see. If he goes Battle Fury anyway, it becomes less of an issue. DK will be the ones to ban the Alchemist, so scratch that thought. LGD, they see the DK, they don't have that initiating support, they don't have the disabling support, so they'll ban out the Rubik here. And for DK, in terms of those supports, they're not going to get a Shadow Demon this game. They don't really have a good setup stun at this point.
I think the ones left is Sand King and VS. There's nothing much left as a setup stun, which can play the support role. Sand King, I think, is probably the best option they have.
Sure, Dragon Knight has a range stun when he's in his range form, but even then, it's not that long range.
To the RP.
What's that?
They need a follow-up stun for the RP. Sand King's Barrel Strike is one of more suitable stuns.
Well, that's the one thing an Alchemist would have given them, is an AoE stun. And with RP pulling heroes together, it means you will hit everyone. Yeah. But they won't get it.
They still have a Lina, but Lina with Keeper of the Light is not very good.
It's good at farming, not so good at initiating. And DK, they're actually going to ban the Gyro, I think really worrying about this tri-lane of LGD.int, and I think this is a pretty smart ban.
It could also mean that DK is not going to go for any more carry. They're going to play it safe with the Dragon Knight as their sole carry.
Maybe they were thinking of PL. Maybe that's what they were thinking of.
True.
Because Gyrocopter is obviously great against him, but he'll get banned.
Alchemist and Gyro are both very good against PL.
So instead, DK, they'll take a Juggernaut, which I think is fine for DK. They now have 3 heroes that are melee, 3 heroes that can benefit a lot from Empower. DK, he won't get the additional splash when he's in his ultimate form, but he also doesn't really need it. So he'll be quite fine with just the plus damage and a hard-to-kill lineup. The 3 cores of DK are all very tanky. Magnus and DK naturally tanky. Juggernaut, tanky throws spells, tanky throws healing ward. And it's going to be hard for LGD to kill a lot of these heroes, I feel, unless they have a very good start and snowball quickly.
Healing ward is very good against Tinker, not to mention that.
That's a great point as well. So now for DK, it's pretty obvious. They need that last support. And for them, it's looking like an off-lane Magnus, a solo mid DK, and a tri-lane Juggernaut. The other option, I guess, is an aggressive tri-lane Juggernaut, a safe lane Magnus, and a solo mid DK. But we pretty much know the DK is going to go mid at this point. And for LGD, they go back for the Mirana, a hero who has seen more play as of late, but I think the only game where it's really been particularly effective was that one Mushi game with the Arcane Mode Shadowblade. I know Yamate has played it on and off, but it didn't really seem to shine quite as much in his shoes. What do you make of this Mirana pick?
They want to probably try lane with the Mirana because they need somewhat of a very strong carry that can
It'll probably be
strong in the tri lane. It's either a Windrunner or something like a Mirana.
Maybe even something like a Bane here, because they really lack a setup stun. And Bane Elemental is not... DK have multiple carries, so it's not really an ideal hero versus them, but I don't... How else are they going to tri-lane this? I guess you can tri-lane with the Nyx, Leshrac, Mirana, pick another solo. Yeah. That's the other option, but Nyx's stun... It's got that travel time. It's not really the most reliable initiation compared to something like a Sleep or a Disruption. And DK, they got greedy with the support here. They'll go back for the Shadow Shaman. So having a lot of faith in the Keeper of the Light to get them through the laning phase.
I think all in all it's alright because LGD can't really form a very, very deadly tri-lane because all of the strong tri-lane heroes are banned out already. Gyro, Lifestealer, Shadow Demon, Rubik. There's nothing much that can form a very, very strong tri-lane that can destroy your lane so badly that your Shadow Shaman can't level at all.
If LGD had wanted, they could go... I mean, if they wanted just the greediest lineup, I guess they could go Lycan here, but that means Magnus will get a lot of levels in easy farm. Assuming they do run that aggressive China, and they'll go Shadow Fiend instead. So it looks like a Pycat Shadow Fiend, probably a G solo. Well, actually, I'm not. They have no setup really now of any kind.
G is playing the Tinker, I think.
And then a Pycat safe lane Shadow Fiend, a tri-lane Morana, Leshrac, Nyx.
Yeah, that's the aggressive tri-lane. Nyx, Leshrac, and Bottom.
Well, Shadow Shaman and Keeper of the Light will be vulnerable if they get caught. Juggernaut, not so much. Well, if you chain your stunts perfectly, you might be able to kill him, but probably he'll get his Blade Fury off. And while you're busy killing him, Illuminate's being channeled. So for LGD.int, the key thing is going to be finding the kills on the supports. Can they do it? We'll find out now. LGD.int, they're in a hole, but they're not out of this one yet. It's a best of 3. DK leads the best of 3, 1-0. Loser goes home. Winner, they move on to play Zenith tomorrow, and the winner of that, they go to the LAN final. So a lot at stake here in this game too, especially for the boys from North America and Europe. Brax on the Morana in the tri-lane, 1437, playing that Leshrac. Misery, a little bit slow to get out of the base. He'll be handling that Nyx Assassin and joining them in the tri-lane. It's actually going to be a solo mid Shadow Fiend. Pycat will be playing that, and he has been pulled a set of tangos by Misery. And on the safe lane, it will be G, handling the Tinker, and he's going to be, looks like he's going for an early bottle, sitting on about 250 gold right now.
Yeah, they want to put the Shadow Fiend against the Dragon Knight, which will be a very good lane for the SF. But I think because they want to put more pressure, SF against a melee hero is much more stronger than Tinker against Dragon Knight. And Tinker can have the far more safer lane at the top side of the map.
So you like the lanes for LGD.int right now?
Yeah, I like how they put their lanes.
And on that note, let's... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and for DK, we have our TK on the Magnus, then we have Super on the Dragon Knight. And MMY Rasta, QQQ on the Keeper of the Light this time, not MMY on the Keeper of the Light. I wonder if he'll be as rich as the Keeper of the Light last game. And last but not least, Burning on the Juggernaut.
Probably not. I think Dai is going to bust out his inner Extinct here and say, "You're my net." So, DK off the bat, they will block LGD from actually getting into their jungle, which means they won't be able to ward off the pull. Probably won't be able to ward it off in time to stop that first creep.
Our DK has a haste, he'll bump into G.
Well, he could just be lasered, so he's not going to kill him.
He didn't try to hit him. He just ran backwards.
Yeah, maybe he was worried that they wouldn't be aggressive tri-laning, but they already saw that with the Illuminate, so it is very curious.
Yeah, no, the Illuminate only saw one hero, only saw a Priestess of the Moon.
Okay.
I mean the Piranha.
But
they didn't really see the two supports.
But she wouldn't really do much as a solo. Like, you pretty much know she's going to be in the tri-lane. Especially in the off-lane. I feel like if you want to solo Mirana, you really need a 1v1, or you need a safe lane solo at the very least.
Yeah, still hiding behind the tower, and there's so much pressure on our DK right now because they have no idea where is the supports of LGD.
Burning, he's gone for a defensive build, but his last heading so far has been pretty much picture perfect, aside from what LGD have been able to deny. And for me, the key thing is Winter, DK, they guarded their jungle, they didn't let LGD in, so they were not able to actually ward off the pull, which means off the bat, QQQ getting a little bit of extra golden experience here. He's got to be careful, though. He should be running now. He will. Keeper of the Light is one of the most annoying heroes to lane against because he's so fast. 315 base move speed is... Even Leshrac. Leshrac's the only other support I can think of that can even catch him.
But they have Rasta. Rasta is 285.
He's clumsy enough to make up, I suppose.
Yeah.
Dice.
That guy's very slow.
Die spamming out that Ether Shock, just doing whatever he can to harass. And LGD, having failed to block the pull, they will block it now with this Sentry Ward, but I feel to some extent the damage is already done. DK already got that first stack and pull off. They could even go to just farm the jungle with QQQ. Now the lane's getting pushed back, and whenever you're up against a tri-lane Keeper of the Light, this is kind of the issue, right? Is if he just spams Illuminate, you can never even leave your tower, or it's very hard to do. So I feel like for LGDN, they really have to look to the solos right now to have the big impact. And speaking of those solos, how are we doing?
Look at how badly Brax is getting harassed, and if you look at the lanes, the solo lanes, I think both of the solo lanes are in favor of LGD. Both of their lanes, they have the better heroes to win the lane.
Pycat 10-2, G 10-0, easy farm for both of them. The good news for DK is the Dragon Knight's farming well mid, and top lane RTK, he's doing alright. We'll actually even see QQQ rotate in mid. Oh, if they get a stun. There's no stun though. Unfortunately, Super hasn't taken a point, and now he will. If he can get in range, he's just short. Oh, he just hit level 4 there. If he had had it earlier, I think he would have gotten in range. Might have been our first blood. Instead, a lot of wasted time. And now LGD.int might be able to break out of this containment bottom lane.
Not to mention, he didn't have mana as well. He needed the Keeper to chakra him first before he's able to stun the SF.
Yeah, so really the ideal thing there, I guess, would have been stun, chakra, so you don't reveal your invis rune too early, and then illuminate, but not able to get it off. QQQ, he'll drop a sentry, but his sentry will get denied, which means the camp will continue to be blocked.
Yeah, very good play there by LGD.
Super now bottle crowing, and he'll need to do this a lot. Kerr actually took a bit of chip damage from that Shadow Fiend, and LGD, they have two heroes who really want a strong start in the solo lane. It's more important for Shadow Fiend as well as Tinker than most other heroes. If these heroes don't have a strong start, until you get your boots of travel, until you get your basic items up, you're in a lot of trouble. I want to point out G has actually gone Laser Rocket, so he's not going for March this game. What do you make of that?
I think Laser Rocket is good to give a lot of pressure in your lane. If you are laning against a melee, it's also not bad. But the thing is, he's gonna be slowing his farm a lot later on. But he's able to provide more damage when
Oh, this could be our first blood. He's got the laser, he's got the rocket, he finds one, finds the other. Not quite enough.
Yeah, the bottle charges there keeping ROTK alive.
But he'll have to go back to base.
Like I mentioned, the laser rocket is gonna give a lot of pressure towards his melee opponent on the lane.
Now the one trade-off with this build is if that Magnus goes to gank bottom, which is fairly likely as far as solo heroes go, G won't be able to punish it as much. He won't be able to push the tower as quickly, but he will be able to zone RTK out more effectively in the laning stage. So it's just prioritizing the good start in the lane over maybe a stronger presence in the mid game.
Yeah, not to mention, DK doesn't really have the lineup to push that early. They need to get level 6 on the Rasta. They need to get the level 6 on the Dragon Knight. You don't really need much of a siege to defend that early. So I think going for Laser Rocket is alright this game.
Oh, RTK, he's got Skewer. If he can hit a Skewer here... No, that's a little risky. He won't go for it. But I was circling to ward bottom, Winter, because I'm sure you've been keeping an eye on the Ward Wars bottom, as a good support player should. We see it was dewarded, the Sentry Ward for LGD that was over here. But then a Fresh Observer placed down, and I think at this point, DK... out of sentries. No money on QQQ. Die, no money on him either. Oh, he could buy them, but I think he really wants his boots.
Yeah, I think he's just gonna go get his boots. They have no idea where is the exact position of the ward. They might have to waste too many sentries to reward this ward.
And in the tri-lane bottom, although they're not really winning the lane by any means, LGD, their supports still even in terms of levels because they've been able to block the pulls and prevent DK from abusing that Keeper of the Light to get some additional farm. And Mirana's farming okay. She's not like... Oh, mid lane, rotation in from RTK, picked up a first blood.
He missed the shockwave.
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
And actually a double damager was just picked up by Pycat. I guess he got caught going for the rune.
No, he was just in the lane, and RTK rotated in to kill him.
Yeah, RTK is really... This is the one other downside to the not going March is it's easy for the Magnus to push your lane. That's kind of what we saw there. RTK, he pushes the lane into the tower, and then he can rotate mid, knowing that he's not actually missing more than a wave or two of experience. Wow, that's a crucial kill, because Pycat was snowballing so hard. 28 and 12, but now he slows down, and now we're going to see Super, despite a slower start, be in great shape.
Yeah, SF is also very easy to gank. RTK didn't hit his skewer and didn't hit his shockwave, but he still managed to kill the SF.
I think
that was how squishy the SF was.
Was it two? I think he used 2 shockwaves. I think he hit the first one, or did he miss both?
No, he just had. He started with a skewer into the SF, but he missed. Then when the Dragon Knight stunned the SF, he missed his shockwave after the stun.
Jesus. Well, he showed up. He added a few auto attacks. That was all that Super needed.
Yeah,
Super says
the only thing he did was the auto attacks.
There was enough. Can't argue with results, Winter. At the end of the day.
Yep.
And that's such a big kill because LGD, they were winning their 2 solo lanes heavily, and they weren't really losing the tri-lane badly by any means. Yes, Burning is farming now significantly more than our Mirana with the phase boots up. He'll continue to do so. Brax, without phase boots of his own, he had to go Tranquils to deal with the Illuminate spam, and it makes it much harder to last hit. A melee hero with a better animation than the Mirana. Burning is going to free farm in this lane. Now it gets really hard for Brax, and LGD are going to abandon that tri-lane and rotate towards mid.
Yeah, Mirana has very low attack damage at the start. When he is forced to go for the Tranquil boots, he's just gonna have such a hard time last hitting.
The good news is G almost has his Boots of Travel, and he is going laser rockets, which means these supports for DK, if they're spotted in the lane, and an impale hits and arrow hits, they will almost certainly die to the follow-up.
He saved 1 skill point.
Maybe he's
for
thinking...
rearm.
Yeah. You don't really want to get rearm until you actually have your Boots of Travel. It's pointless up to that point, so if he dies, he may just sit on it some more, but once he gets the Boots of Travel, we'll see him skill it.
He will just wait, depending on the situation. Maybe he...
Caught in the river, eats an impale, eats a follow-up stun from the Leshrac, and then Pycat gets the kill, as well as a regen rune. So, a little bold there for our Keeper of the Light. He saw 2 supports missing in the lane, he just wanders down to the river and pays the piper.
Yeah, I think it's better for him there to just deny the
top lane. This could be huge. Super has his ultimate. He has a haste rune. Boots of Travel are almost online for G, and he doesn't know. Oh man, RTK.
He's dead.
Oh, he looks so screwed. Here comes your hasted Dragon Knight. Laser goes in. There's your Shockwave. There's an RP as well. They'll probably blow it all. They don't even need to. The Skewer is there. But while that was happening, Burning actually died in the bottom lane. I think the bigger kill was the Tinker kill, though, because he almost had Boots of Travel, and they're looking at a tier 1 to get a lot of damage top. So carry's traded, but I'll take the trade for DK any day.
Oh, it's very hard for them to kill the Juggernaut. I didn't see how they killed him.
I didn't even see an arrow get used. I think maybe it was an impale into a split earth, and then just they auto-attacked
impale into a split earth, that's all they used. They didn't even use the arrow.
And Burning's only level 5. He's a little bit squishy. Phase boots, they don't actually give you any survivability if you're being stunned. And he was stunned there. So the tier 1 goes down. Now a big victory for DK. I mean, talk about a fortunate rune. Getting that haste rune on super, rotating top, but a nice rotation as well. RTK feeling rather bold here. Gonna look about an additional Shockwave. He's got to be careful.
It was a full level laser rocket. He skilled all his rocket already. He didn't save any skill point because he died, and he knew that he was nowhere near his Boots of Travel, and he used up his skill points for the rockets. And
by the time he has his Boots of Travel, he'll be level 9. So in the end, this just gives you a little more presence in the lane.
Yeah, he's gonna deal a lot of damage to the Shadow Shaman and the Keeper of the Light with his sword build. That's the very good thing about going this build, and if he has the early Boost of Travel, he just spots the Keeper of the Light or the Shadow Shaman, one rocket will just drop them to half HP. So Winter, we're heading towards the mid game now. Tinker will get his Boots of Travel up, our Shadow Fiend for Pycat. He did die early, but he's still our lead farmer in terms of CS. It looks like some neutral kills may be a part of that package, but slightly behind the DK mid. Not a big deal. The one issue for me with... Oh, bottom lane, we'll have an initiation now on Brax, who will eat a long range. Wow, Boost of Travel is online. Boost of Travel is online.
Oh, they had an RP there, just couldn't find the opening for it, and choose not to use it. And like you mentioned... I think if they went on them, they could have died, because Boost of Travel was online, and G could TP over with a 4-level laser rocket. And they see it now. They have to know it's there now. So instead, DK, they'll just 5-man. They're going to group up bottom. They're going to push. They don't have their Shadow Shaman Wars. That's the only issue for them. The Impale for Misery will miss. RTK, he's got Skewer. He's got Skewer in 3 seconds. Hits, but yeah, you're not going into RP. Not yet, anyway. The Healing Ward keeping everyone healthy. The Shockwave span. Look at 1437 in mid lane. They tried for a trade, but... there's no anti-mage this game. There's no hero to really punish QQQ in bottom lane while that was happening. 1437 will be dove, and we'll get picked up. Brax lurks in the trees, but only has mana for an arrow. No follow-up nukes, and I feel they need every inch. DK looking at their 3rd tower, 11 minutes in, and on the side of LGD.int, they've got nothing. They have to do something. The arrow's gonna whiff. The TP comes in from Nyx. The TP comes in from Leshrac. Misery, as well as 1437, join the party. There was a raise attempted through the Ancients up the hill, but not gonna matter in the end. DK, they force out multiple TPs, they get a kill, they slow down the Tinker Boots of Travel, and at this point, I gotta give DK a big edge here. Just, I feel like it's going to be very hard to kill the core heroes. The Magnus, the Juggernaut, the Dragon Knight, these are not easy heroes to kill. Sure, maybe you kill the Shadow Shaman and the Keeper of the Light, but it's okay for me if they die a few times. Yeah, if they don't kill the DK or the Juggernaut, they're just gonna keep grouping and getting more items. Taking down all your towers. The Healing Ward is just going to allow the Dragon Knight with his level 1 ultimate, which has that corrosive damage onto your towers. They're just going to take the towers very easily because there's still no much to defend the towers. So RTK, it looks like he's going either for a pipe or a mechanism. We'll see a skirmish over the top rune. Super will eat a single raise, but no follow-up there. What do you think of RTK's build here? They don't really have another obvious initiator. Do you think this is the way to go? Going for a mech or a pipe early?
think they realize that they need to get an early mecha because they're going to do a lot of 5-man push against the Nyx Assassin and the Tinker. You don't want the Nyx and the Tinker to speed push you too much to a point where you are so afraid to go out of your map and you need to get a gem, you need to get a lot of sentries, stuff like that. So I think going the mecha on the Magnus this game is a good decision because the Keeper of the Light will take a longer time to get the mecha, and Magnus is the one that can get the mecha as soon as possible.
This is one of those games, though, where if DK has a Blink Dagger and he hits an RP, it's probably 4 or 5 heroes dead on LGD.int, because they're all squishy. Every single one of their carries is relatively low HP, and not the best armor even at that. A hero like Shadow Fiend, 6 armor for an agility hero, not that great. So the one downside is they don't have the chance of just winning the game on one big team fight, but it will be a bit of a safer, more defensive build from RTK. Interesting considering his playstyle and personality, but hey, it works.
It doesn't fit his personality.
Wow, look at the rocket spam. Really being a nuisance here in the middle lane. Quick rotation back to the base.
Oh, the DK is gonna go in.
Oh, by Misery. But the arrow will come through. The ward trap is there. Misery is caught. A nice little block there, but it's not enough. Now the Omni Slash from Burning assassinates a second. The supports for LGD.int. That's 2 in a row. Picked off again. And now DK, they won't have the wards for this push, but they do have the RP, the mechanism coming soon, and they're just 5-manning their way down mid. And with no March of the Machines, there's really not much of a way for LGD to stop this. You can spam rockets, but rockets doesn't kill the creeps. And with healing ward, in the end, it will be healed back up. I think LGD are really in a lot of trouble here, Winter.
Yeah, they don't have the much of machines. That's very, very big. The laser rocket so far has done nothing for the team.
And we even saw the effects of it elsewhere, like the top lane. You know, if there was a March of the Machines there where the Dragon Knight died, the heroes may have been too low even to push the tower. It worked for G in the laning stage to provide the additional damage, but we are seeing the big drawback to that build now. And it's not a build that most of your Southeast Asian Tinker players will go for, so a different style from G. Unfortunately, by no means the only reason that this team is having trouble, but certainly the lack of it is going to hurt them now as we head towards the mid-game. So, on the side of LGD.int, right now not having a good start, what do you do if you're them? Oh, Misery, he's gonna come in. A walk into a Hex. Where's that Shackle? The Stretch Armstrong is there. Now the Blade Fury to fly. Misery runs in, goes for the Impale, says, I'm probably dead, but I'm gonna take you with me. Die, zaps him down, still on the run. G now in trouble, a hasted RTK comes in, and this could be the death of 2 if the RP hits on 2. There's your skewer to start. G dropping low, he'll TP out, he forces the RP. Pycat now, man mode from him. Requiem gets channeled, but cancelled by the Hex. Now it's channeled again. Pycat looking at a possible triple kill. He hits the one raise. RTK lumbers out of there. Burning on the one as well. Will we see a buyback from G? No chance of it, it looks like. And Burning, RTK, they'll limp away to safety. Pycat so close to that triple kill. In the end, he only gets 1.
Yeah, if 1437 was able to hit the stun, but it was a level 1 stun, that's why it's very difficult to hit.
Yeah, it's got a decent range, but the AoE is just pathetic, to be honest. It's like 2 creeps, basically.
It's very, very small, the AoE.
Normally you'll see players, even if they don't max it, take at least 2 points in it.
Yeah, because they realized that they have the lack of counter push, because the Tinker didn't go for the March build, so the Last Shock has to go for the Lightning Storm build.
Yeah, they're really kind of caught in a difficult position because Leshrac is a key stun for them. Arrow is not reliable, Impale's their only reliable stun, and they need 1437 to hit his follow-up stuns, or I feel like you're just not killing anyone, because Juggernaut will Omni Slash, he'll Blade Fury, he'll drop his healing ward, any of the above, the fight turns around, Magnus can skewer away, DK will probably just sit there and take it like a man, or like a dragon. I feel that not hitting those follow-up stuns, if it happens multiple times this game, could decide the fights. It really could.
I think Mirana didn't really do a very good job in this game, the pickup of Mirana. They didn't really win their lanes at bottom, and Mirana is a hero that if you pick him up and you didn't win the early phase of the game, this hero is not as good as like a Juggernaut or what a DK or Juggernaut can do. DK and Juggernaut can basically control the tempo and push down towers with their spells and skill set. Mirana has to speed push and farm.
And they're reliable heroes, too. You have a reliable stun, a reliably tanky hero on the Dragon Knight, a reliable heal. All these things you can count on. You can't count on arrows. And if you don't hit arrows, sure, Mirana's got some AoE, she's got some killing potential, but not a whole lot. DK are going to take a tower bottom. Here comes an arrow. It will not hit Super. A beautiful juke by him. Although he seems to be in trouble, the courier will die. It had a Mithril Hammer, as well as a BKB recipe on it, and as a result, Super could have BKB TP'd out. Instead, he'll die Courier might have been tried. I think one of their teammates might have actually taken it over, saying, let's save the Courier. They neither save the Courier nor Super. They lose both, and they cost him his life. The BKB won't be available for, what is it, a good 2 minutes now. That is a huge turn of events in top lane. G on the run. RTK will RP. Going for the solo kill. He needs the mana. He'll find it. He hasn't gotten the kill yet, though. G's on the run. He'll bottle up. RP now blown as well. And the tier 1 to fall bottom. So a sequence of unfortunate events for DK. And LGD.int pulling their way back into this game.
Yeah, I think it was the Shadow Shaman using the Courier just now because he was standing at the side. He was. I can't remember if he took any item. Maybe it was a dust or something. Then the DK didn't get his BKB on time. If not, he would have definitely survived that gang.
Bernie was thinking about manning up there, but I don't think that's going to do much when you have a level 1 Omni Slash. Really need level 2 to find any kills. He'll back off. He'll play it safe. That was a big fight. That was something LGD desperately needed to get their feet back in this game. Now, for DK, the timing will be significantly delayed. They had a BKB on Dragon Knight. They now have a gem up on him, which, thank God for DK's sake, they didn't lose it, because if they did, they'd be even worse off. But that fight really cannot be overstated. That was so big for LGD to win that.
Yeah, it was very important for them to get something like that, because they were so far behind.
They're still behind in terms of gold, albeit not that much. Experience-wise, it's pretty even. But LGD have a kind of lineup where if you start to give away openings to them, they will really snowball from that, I feel. And DK, they have gone for the early gem, so I expect Winter we're going to see some 5-man fighting the tier 2 towers, going mid, going top in the next minute or two. They need to wait for the BKB on Super, though, but once that Courier respawns, we'll see them go for it.
Yeah, they already have the mecha, and basically they have enough resources to go 5-man. But I think they're just going to wait for, like what you said, till the Courier response, take the BKB for the Dragon Knight and proceed on to push after that.
They could even wait longer if they want, at least until RTK gets his Blink Dagger. I feel like that's your window, though. That's where you really want to go.
Yeah, she's already halfway there.
And if this goes later, like let's say DK can't really take this game at 30 minutes. They can't break the base. They can't get racked. Do you give LGD the edge at that point? Do you think they have the better late game?
It's hard to tell because both sides have very strong late game in my opinion. They have Magnus, DK and Juggernaut may not be the best late game carries, but with Magnus and Power and RP, things can change drastically in the mid game, in the late game. But for LGD, they have like the more flexible late game heroes. Tinker and Shadowfiend are the more flexible one, and if Mirana is able to farm up, definitely the late game they have 3 very strong late game heroes.
Here comes an Invis Mirana towards the top lane. If Brax hits this arrow, Bernie could be in trouble. They may even just go for a Starfall into an Impale. Oh, they'll go and miss.
They have to hit the Impale.
Too late. The arrow will fly,
Oy.
but Misery was running away. Not the best communication, and as a result, Burning, I think he might live here. He'll pop his wand. He'll Blade Fury away. Crucial miscommunication. Brax going in. Misery running back. Cost them a guaranteed kill.
I wouldn't say it was guaranteed, but I think Misery.
I think so. Misery would have been in range for a Vendetta hit.
Yeah, no, he didn't expect Brax to hit the arrow because it was a difficult position to hit the arrow there.
Yeah, well, not trusting his teammate, I guess, or saying it's not worth the risk.
You have to trust your teammate if you want to do stuff like that.
Meanwhile, talk about trusting your teammates. Pycat saying, "Where's my team? I'm farming the DK jungle all by my lonesome." And in comes a big bad Dragon Knight, along with 2 buddies, 3 buddies actually, gets the kill. And Pycat, another death for him. He is still our lead farmer in terms of CS, but now 2 deaths this game, which all things considered is not bad, but he could be very far ahead if he hadn't died yet. Unfortunately, mid lane, they'll go on to G, Super. Will we see that immediate TP out from G? He'll laser, he'll TP, but Birdie is here. Omni Slash with the mini stun as well as the damage, they get the easy kill.
Yeah, that will set back his dagger. He was almost having his dagger there. It's like same like the timing where he got killed before he gets his Boots of Travel. In this game, they got 2 very crucial kills on the Tinker before he gets his dagger and his Boots of Travel. That's very big.
Winter, there's double blinks. Dai's got a blink, MMY now sitting on 1, and we're going to see one any second now. In fact, we already do on RTK, just buys it at the side shop. And now LGD can't really split push safely because there's 2 blinks afoot, a blink RP, a blink Hex. If there's any follow-up, Tinker will die. Mirana will die. Even a hero like the Shadow Fiend could easily be brought down. There's no BKB on him yet. Pycat is even skipping a BKB this game. Just going for what looks to be a Manta style. Maybe a Linken's,
he wants to go for more speed pushing power.
This is for DK, they've got such a strong opportunity here with all these big initiation items. The tanky Dragonite, the pushy composition with Illuminate spam, Healing Ward, now a Battle Fury coming out for Burning to give them a bit of additional late game. He'll pop a Drum Charge. That will be their initiation. A Blink.
Oh, bottom lane.
There's the Blink Dagger. The Hex to follow up. They need that Shackle. They need a lot of damage here. I don't think it's enough. Oh, this is bad. This is very, very bad. Burning on the run. Will his soul be burnt to a crisp? One more hit. He'll go down. Looks to be dead here. He's dead. They go in on Pycat, and they sorely underestimate the amount of damage they can dish out. Didn't have Omni Slash. That's going to delay your Battle Fury from burning. It gives G his Blink Dagger. DK, wow, that was a big mistake from them.
I think he didn't have enough mana to drop his Serpent Wards.
Yeah, that's right.
Why. Yeah, if he didn't have enough mana, I don't think he could have killed the Shadow Fiend. They needed the damage from either the Juggernaut or Omni Slash, but he didn't have it.
Yeah.
So it has to come from the Serpent Wards.
And Burning, if he didn't die there, he would have had his Battle Fury by now. It would be on the Courier on its way. It's a late one, but getting a Battle Fury on the Juggernaut will allow DK to take this later. Even if it's a late Battle Fury, it's not like he's farming too badly right now. He'll be able to keep up with a hero like Shadow Fiend, but with that death, it delays his Battle Fury. It gets the Blink on G, and now LGD, they can split push more safely. They can be more aggressive with farming, knowing that G can always blink away after he TPs in.
Yeah, and he's doing a big stack. Yeah, he's gonna get a lot of gold from this.
Maybe Pycat's gonna get a lot of gold here. Pycat's getting like every creep. Well, somebody's getting gold. And that's his Manta style, more or less.
He's gonna have his Manta style already. I think it's a good decision not to go for the BKB so fast because there's Omni Slash and the RP. BKB doesn't really offer him too much except to counter the Rasta so that the Rasta can't disable you too badly. But right now they have to speed push a lot. So going for the Manta style is a very good choice here by the Shadow Fiend.
And it feels like they will have at least an equally good split push lineup, if not the better one. They have the Nyx who can always punish bad positioning. Sure, there's a gem on Dragonite, but he can't be everywhere. And Juggernaut, as well as Dragonite and Magnus, none of these heroes are going to be as mobile as a Tinker.
And you can't have gem on every hero.
Yeah. You can have a few, but it's going to take a while at that. Unless LGD.int start feeding you their own gems, which they don't have one right now. DK, they'll group up mid as 4, but Burning is top. He can be pulled in by that Keeper of the Light. We'll see if they do it. Working on the tower, wards are available. Lurking on the backlines is Die. He's got the Blink, he's got the wards. Everything he needs is there. Will they go in now? Wards deployed, a Blink. RTK, not gonna find anything, but they get the tower.
They cancel the pull, and they just stun Burning before he got recalled into mid lane.
And I think DK's okay with that in the end. Burning gets to farm top. It's not like DK was going for racks at that point anyway.
It turned out better, in my opinion.
You're right though. Just one more thing that's kind of annoying. But I mean, maybe they could have tried for Roche, but I don't really think so. Nobody was dead there. You don't want to fight in March. Yeah, so I don't think it's a big deal in the end. And
they don't have to really rush things right now. They can take things slower, wait for the more items out from the Juggernaut and the Dragonite. They can take this during the mid phase of the game, where DK has one more item. I think it's better for him to go for more damage item now, or attack speed items.
So Pycat, I mentioned maybe Linkeds, but generally you see the Manta style, he will go Linkeds here, so a nice way to deal with that Blink Hex, that Blink Shackle. But Shadow Shaman can still Blink Shackle and then Hex, or the other way around, and still remove this. He'll just have to be quick.
I'm actually quite surprised he went for the Lincoln Sphere. It helps him farm a lot faster and safer, and deals with the DK stun, the Rastas disables, but Lincolns doesn't really offer too much after that. There's so many things that could trigger the Lincolns.
Yeah, and with Omni, top lane, bit of an engagement here. We'll have a teleport incoming from our Juggernaut Burning. Well, actually, the stun there was too early from the Nyx. He'll drop the healing ward.
Middle lane.
And now middle lane, the action onto Brax, who is hexed up, and he's dusted up, and he will be skewered back into the tower, and leaps away. Zap from long range. TK had the blink anyway, so they'll get the kill. And now top lane, they want to go on Burning, but Burning just not an easy kill at this point in the game. Misery, they don't have the burst damage. Even if he hits his full combo, he'll get his Blade Fury off.
Yeah, unless they are able to hit the Mirana arrow before. Brax hit the arrow first so that Misery can hit the Vendetta damage and follow up with the stun.
That's right. Unfortunately, we just haven't seen those three together often this game. They'll blink in now on Super, and then comes Pycat. He's actually Shadow Blade. He just wants to force a teleport or two here. He knows he has the Lincolns in case they come for a counter gank. They won't.
I think the Lincolns will just help him farm a lot faster because of the mana regen, but generally doesn't really help him much in the team fight. He doesn't it doesn't seem that they want to fight at all now. I think having the Lincolns is not too bad for him. He can split push much safer, doesn't have to worry about the blink initiation from the Rasta too much.
It's definitely not bad now. Of course, the trade-off is later on. Whoa, RTK thinking about an RP here. He canceled it. He canceled it.
Oh, he just canceled. Okay. I thought he dropped his RP.
Yeah, and I like this. I think I just saw Ghost Scepter on G. I did. And that's so good against Omni Slash, against just auto attacks from the Dragon Knight, who, by the way, is level 16. Now he gets scary with that AoE slow. If heroes get caught in a reverse polarity, if they eat in power damage, if Burning is cleaving on top of an RP while everyone's being slowed by the Dragon Knight, if there's an Assault Cuirass there with minus armor, if any of the above are true, really, it's going to hurt. And it's going to hurt a lot. So things like Ghost Scepter, essential. I think not just for him, but possibly for most of the heroes in LGDN.
I think Ethereal Blade Dagon is a good choice this game for the Tinker because of the fact that they don't really need too much disables. There's a lot of stuns from his teammate, and he can go Ethereal Blade Dagon to just kill off the supports and annoy the DK and the Juggernaut. Because Juggernaut is not a hero that will most of the time go for a Blacking Bar. He'll be very vulnerable to the Dagon and Ethereal Blade combination. And
even if he uses Blade Fury to get away, the problem is he can't cast Omni Slash during that time, so he's just running Magic Immune, but he can still be killed off by Pycat. So it's not an actual obvious solution to just use Blade Fury in that case.
Yeah, but I could be wrong because I said Pycat was going to go for Manta and he went for Lincoln, so...
Ghost Scepter is definitely an item that you could just casually pick up. You don't have to build it in anything else, especially not a Tinker. RTK just, I guess he's a bit of a logger today, just feeling like doing a little deforestation here. Farming up some additional wood. This ain't Warcraft 3, RTK. Get your head in the game. Top lane.
Top lane.
They want super. He's got an Assault Cuirass. Can they actually bring him down? There's your Requiem. Now the stun. The follow-ups are there. He's still got a BKB. Oh they'll chase him. He won't die. He can't die. He's so
Misery made a mistake there. He didn't get the Vendetta hit off.
Also, that's another mistake. Giving up the Omni Slash kill. The other thing was in the end there, the Requiem wasn't directly on top of on top of him, which means it did a little bit less damage. It still did a crap load, but...
it was supposed to be an instant snipe. I think he was worried that... But I think you can't really blame him because he was worried that Super would have the reaction to BKB when he uses his Vendetta hit on him. But I think that if... Like what you said, if he was casting the Requiem right directly on top of the Dragon Knight, they would have killed him right there.
That was just one of those random things where, you know, most pro players are very fidgety, they're very active, so even if there's nothing going on, they'll always be moving back and forth while they're last hitting. Super just happened to move to the left. Really nothing that Pycat could have done. If he had stopped to rechannel it, probably would have been too late.
Initially, I thought it was a mistake by Misery not landing the Vendetta, but then when I put more thought of it, he was worried that the DK would get his BKB off. So it was actually...
And we've seen that before. We've definitely seen things like that
It was
before.
actually not a bad decision for him to... It was the right thing to do for him to not be greedy and get the Vendetta hit off. They would have gotten the kill if they get the combination and the timing of the position of the Requiem correct.
And let's be fair, they were very close to getting that kill. It was hit like 50 HP, so... Just one of those things where, in the end, it doesn't work out, but no blame to be assigned, no real obvious mistakes. And as the game progresses, looking at DK... Despite having a great split push lineup in LGD, they're really falling behind. And for me, Winter, it's these supports who are just so far behind. Shadow Shaman and Keeper of the Light, rich Shadow Shaman. Blink, Force, Gem. I think the Gem was bought by the Keeper of the Light.
And he's as rich as the last game.
Dai is always rich. He's the extinct of DK.
I know. Last game at 30 minutes, he had... He even had an ultimate off. He had Force Staff and a Ghost Scepter on his Keeper of the Light and the ultimate off at 30 minutes. And
that a Sight Device later on.
Yeah.
A freaking Sight Device. And it wasn't even that late. Like a late game Keeper of the Light Sight Device, you'll normally see like 50 minutes.
It's not like he rushed his Sight of Vice as a first item. He got his Ghost Scepter, he got his Force Staff, he bide his time to get a lot of items, and he even managed to get a Hex before the game ended.
What is G gonna go for here? Right, for the moment not buying anything. You can pick up the Ultimate Orb if you want, but really, until you can complete the Sight Device, doesn't do a whole lot for you, and I'm curious, will it be the Ethereal Blade? Will it be the Sight Device? I'm kind of leaning toward the Sight Device. You say they have a lot of disable. To that I would say Arrow's not reliable. Split Earth isn't something you can count on hitting multiple heroes with. I think they actually need a Sight Device this game. I'm going to say I don't think they have enough disable.
But they need a lot of damage as well at the same time. Taika is not going for those damage intensive items. He's going for speed pushing survivability items. That's why they don't really have a lot of damage right now. And Brax is
Murana. Murana needs so much farm to do damage.
Yeah, he's not farm at all.
Especially because there's a DK with an Assault Cuirass on the enemy team. So DK, I mean, we saw that. Even with the Shadow Fiend hitting a dead-on Requiem with no magic immunity, pretty much invulnerable. 5 heroes smoked up mid. We'll see if DK can find an opening here. But
so you can have a new tagline after they win this game. DK wins with DK.
DK, actually a Blink Hex was there. But it was used on an illusion. So the smoke gank fails, they say screw it. We'll go high ground anyway. March number 1 will be spam. But look at Super. Hardly even taking damage with the healing ward there. The total counter RTK got a whiff on a Blink Skewer. Doesn't really matter. Tower's dropping quickly. Glyph is forced out. And right now LGD.int are only trading for a tier 2. They got to come and defend this. They'll pick off the healing wards. And on that note, DK, they may have to back. No healing ward. No Serpent wards. Will be enough, I think.
Yeah, they have to back off. Good. They dealt a lot of damage already to the towers, less than half HP. The next time the wards cool down, they're gonna destroy the tower, the next push.
They're gonna destroy the tower, and then I think, how do LG actually fight? Because who starts the fight for them? If there's not a Brax arrow, which, let's be honest, there haven't really been many.
Assassin has to be the one that starts the fight.
But there's a gem. There's a gem on the side of DK, so you run in, you just get hexed.
I thought he was gonna go for a dagger. Usually you go for the dagger, but he's still trying to go for the Dagon. I don't really think the Dagon is the right choice here, because he's the only one that can initiate for his team right now. Going for the dagger is a must on the next assassin in this situation.
I guess they may be counting on the Scythe device from G, who is rotated bottom lane. Burning. Well,
he's still very far from the side of ice. He's not near. Misery could have had his dagger if he didn't go for the Staff of Wizardry.
There's your Butterfly on Pycat. So another item that isn't really a pure damage item, although it gives you a lot. 60 damage, 60 attack speed, which considering Shadow Fiend's good damage already is significant, but not a Daedalus, not anything that's just pure DPS. So Pycat, I feel like he needs that one more item, then he'll really hit like a truck. But in a man fight, I mean, DK's just gonna run on you and slow you, and then you don't have a BKB. If you're gonna get stunned at some point, I'm very worried for LGD in the fight.
I don't even think he's gonna buy a BKB.
At this point, yeah, there's really no point. G is maybe thinking about a bait top.
He's gonna go for like a Daedalus and just go for maybe a Manta after that, or Skadi. He's just gonna go full items to deal damage.
So pretty much as hard carry as you can get aside from the Lincolns, which doesn't do a whole lot for you later on.
Yeah, he just wants to be safe in the lane when he speed pushes. That's why he built the Lincolns. And not to mention, Lincolns is an item that allows you to farm a lot faster because of the mana regen you get, the HP regen you get. You don't have to worry about going back to the base. You can spam your race as often as you want because of the regen. So Lincolns is an item that helps Pycat build into more items later on.
Right, but by itself, it won't offer that much. So the thinking for LGD is, let's take it really late. We're not going to win now. We have 3 ranged carries. We have the Tinker. Eventually, DK will be somewhat reliant on hitting a big reverse polarity. And DK, content to farm. Roche is going to be claimed here very quickly by LGD. The paints will come out. Misery scouting things out as well. He'll go in on QQQ. Getting this pick would be big, but the Omni Slash is there. Misery will drop. Super comes in. Head full of steam. Wants to bring down Brax. Will do so. That cat ain't got no legs.
Look at how fast he died, LD.
Yeah, that's the Murana. That's the Murana who's been farming all game, who's gone tank, who's gone power treads, Rita Vakila, and Manta style. And no Nyx now, no Murana. Do they have the buyback? No buyback on either hero. Winter, this is probably Rax. There's no glyph. The tower's gonna die quickly. They'll go out and split push. They're forfeiting their mid-Rax. Well, Nyx just got the buyback, it looks like. But I don't think it matters.
He can't do anything even if he buys back.
RTK has the Blink RP, has a BKB of his own as well. They'll get mid-Rax. They don't lose a thing for it. LGD, yes, they get Roche, but not banking on losing 2 heroes there. Really costing them in the end.
And it was very bad for them to lose their 2 heroes. Even if they got the Roche, there's no way they could defend the Rex, but it's not over for them. They can still just drag out the game and wait for Shadow Fiend to get 2 more items. I don't think he can fight. He might even sell his Linkers later on to get another item.
Yeah, eventually that won't be the best item you can have. Eventually you want to have probably the Butterfly Satanic Daedalus, or maybe an MKB, because Burning does have a Butterfly. But yeah, you really want the Satanic. You probably want the Manta style as well.
We're gonna see a Shadow Fiend that goes full item, all damage without a BKB this game.
My concern with that is if he ever gets caught by a Blink Hex, by a RP, he's dead. It doesn't matter all those items he has. This Shadow Fiend, the only way he lives is if he's life-stealing. Otherwise, there's an Omni Slash with a Butterfly-empowered Juggernaut. You will die to that. You will not live through that if you're the Shadow Fiend. So, Pycat has to play perfectly, whereas DK have lots of margin for error. They can miss an RP if they hit the Hex. If they hit the Dragon Tail, it will be enough. It's crazy to say it, but it's true. And in the end, G will go back for Dagon. He's not going to go for the Scythe device. So he waited, he thought about it for a long time, but he decides Dagon is what we need.
I was thinking Dagon is more for them to control the support so that he can take down the supports without relying on his teammates. He alone can kill the Shadow Shaman or the Keeper of the Light. It's going to be very crucial in the fights. If he can take out the Shadow Shaman before he does anything, then Pycat will be safe from disables.
Also, DK has picked up an MKB, so the butterfly that we see on Pycat won't amount to too much versus that dragon.
Are they going to run into burning? Oh no, they're going in the other direction.
Crystal is now up, so Daedalus is next on the way for Pycat. Not going MKB versus a butterfly Juggernaut, and they don't have a Hex. Still, he hits like a truck. That's for sure. But the evasion for burning could come into play.
I think they are thinking of whether they should... But if I'm DK right now, I would want to end things faster. I wouldn't want to wait for the Tinker and Shadow Fiend to have more items. It'll be a lot of trouble if the Tinker is able to get his Ethereal Blade plus Dagon up. They game 800 damage, Dagon plus Ethereal Blade.
Yeah, and at this point, I think he's looking at getting the Ethereal Blade now, because that will be very useful, even if you don't have a max Dagon. A Dagon.
Yeah, and not to mention, Ethereal Blade can be used to save your teammates.
Exactly.
Wherever the Juggernaut's Omni Slash, you can just use your Ethereal Blade on your teammate, so that the Omni Slash doesn't do anything to him.
Didn't used to be the case. It was actually recently buffed. I think it was like 2 patches ago. Relatively recently, but it's a nice little additional utility of the item, and you can see G just getting closer and closer to it. He'll have the Ethereal Blade fairly soon.
Yeah. I like how they changed it. It's actually very good to make Ethereal Blade that way.
The other thing that's really good about it is it goes based on your base stat. It gives you agility, but it goes based on your base stat. So if you are an intelligence hero and you get an Ethereal Blade, it'll work better.
You mean the bonus damage you get from the Ethereal Blade?
That's right.
The plus, okay.
It still gives you 40 agility though, so... unfortunately, if you're an intelligence hero, if you're a Pudge... I think Pudge is the most fun and ridiculous hero to get it on. If you get a lot of flesh strength, your Ethereal Blade really hurts.
I think it's also good on Tiny.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Tiny is a lot of strength gain.
But Eggs is just so much better on that hero, that's the thing. Like, I could go Ethereal Blade, or I could just kill everyone with 1 cleave.
You are the cleave type of person. You just want to pick Magnus and Tiny and get a Scepter, so you can cleave everyone to death.
Speaking of Scepters, we won't see one on Bernie yet. He's gone for a BKB. Which is going to be big for him, I feel. Having this means he doesn't have to use Blade Fury to escape. He can BKB and auto-attack. And if they get a...
The main thing is the magic immunity he has now. He still can auto-attack instead of the Blade Fury, which he can't hit anyone.
And if he's just able to man up and run in and LGD and try to focus him, and then ROTK comes in with the reverse polarity, this gives them... They already have Super to go in first, so Bernie doesn't even have to be into the fight first. But if he comes in second, he auto-attacks for a while, then he pops his ultimate when his BKB is close to being done. I really think LGD, if this comes to a well-executed fight from DK, do not have a chance. It's like DK just have to screw up for LGD to win.
But I have to ask you, LD, how many times have you seen reverse polarity in a fight? Or we've only seen, if I'm not wrong, only reverse polarities to catch lone heroes.
We saw one on Tinker bottom. It was never needed top when Super came there earlier. Maybe it's only been one. We've seen like 3 or 4 Blink Skewers, and then the RP was canceled top over here. Yeah, I don't think we've seen more than one this game. Oh, I don't know for LGD. This is bad. They've already allowed DK to breach their high ground, and now DK have the positioning to work away on the racks. LGD, they'll back off, but I think they weren't prepared for this. Nyx is coming from the side.
Nyx Assassin and the SF is still so far
They're
away.
so far away. They're going to lose racks unopposed. The arrow will hit on Super, but that's the DK with the BKB. Burning's got his own. They'll run now, but he's got an amazing amount of damage. Be very careful about initiating.
SF is behind. He just lost his Aegis. SF just lost his Aegis.
Oh, LGD in. They're going to go in anyway. They're going to try and fight this one. There's a gem on the Shadow Shaman. Man up from Super. He'll walk in. Look at Misery just melt. Those auto attacks, so that's your DK. Burning will get first down. Now the RP comes through. Who needs Burning? We've got Super. We've got Dragons, and LGDN are crushed. Absolutely overwhelmed. It'll be multiple buybacks, a triple buyback for them on 2 of their carries, but they already lost Rex for this.
They just smoked.
They smoke. They're going in. Burning's bought back as well. He'll allow me his way into 1437, whose Ghost Scepter was cooling down. Nothing he could do there except take it and die. And the Horseman is down for the count. Now Brax on the run. Burning says, let's just finish the game. Let's go, Rax. Pike had a big crit on the MMY. On to die, but not quite enough. Now the Healy Ward deployed again. Healing him back up. They need to kill that Healy Ward. They must kill it. They'll zap ROTK. They'll hit him with an arrow. Burning no Omni Slash, but he does have this BKB. And LGD... well, they defend Winter, but they lost 2 lanes of Rax, and Eva with Tinker, Eva with Shadow Fiend. They know they need more. They're going to chase for these kills, but I don't think they'll find them. Maybe QQQ, but Burning, too late. He's gone. And now RTK should be fine, so it's just down to QQQ. Even if he dies, not the biggest loss in the world. The arrow won't even hit. They're really having to work for this. Now the Hex comes out. Dai will lose the gem. Oh no, he Ghost Scepters. Maybe not. He's on the run, needs to deny this gem. He is going down. He gives away the gem, but they get 2 lanes of Rax, mid's pushing in, Roche is respawning in 3 minutes, and LGD, they need more.
He tried his best to save the gem, and the Keeper of the Light managed to escape there. He gave his life away for the Keeper of the Light.
Oh, they actually had
Good
2 gems. Okay, so the Shadow Shaman had a gem as well. That's the one I was talking about. And then now Pycat has it.
I thought he was, just because that the Keeper of the Light has a gem, he was trying to save him.
Oh, I don't know if they realize that there's 2 gems that currently... they'll hit Super, but Super, I don't know if they can focus him down. They really need Burning, who BKB's up. RP's online, hits both carries. Oh, that might be all she wrote for LGD. 2 carries dead. They were desperate. They had to do something like that because they're not going to win with the next push. But
that was so clutch. LTK's RP just got online that time. He just cooled down and he just blinked in at the right time to use his RP.
And didn't get it cancelled either. If LGD.int had seen him coming, maybe they hit him there, they deny that RP, but he gets it off, and DK, are they going to be the bane of LGD.int's existence again? Will they end their run here in the G1 League? It feels like this is all DK Winter. 15k experience, gold lead, 20k experience lead, big farm, big items, an unstoppable dragon, an unkillable samurai, and they're going high ground now. They're going for the GG. They're going for the Rex.
It's DK's secret strategy. They pick the DK to win the game.
DK picks DK. And unlike No Tidehunter, see, it actually works with No Tidehunter as well, because they pick Tidehunter and they lose. I think they actually lost one of their games where they picked him, so... and it will be a GG. LGD.int, a deflating loss for them, but you gotta say, DK, they deserve this. They played really well today.
Yeah, they played very well as a team. Both the game. The first game, there were quite a number of mistakes, but this game was almost perfect for them.
DK showing that I still believe this is the most talented team in China outside of IG. I think in the end, LGD China is maybe the more disciplined and organized team, but DK, when they're on point, when they're connecting, boy, do they deliver. They will take the series here. They'll take it 2-0 at that. So unfortunately for LGD.int, the road ends here. They will not be returning to a LAN finals in China. They were the darlings of the G League up until the LAN finals. They made it to second place in that tournament. They played amazingly well there. And actually were part of the reason why DK got knocked out, because they took a game off of DK, even losing to them in that group stage. But this time around, it's DK who take the series. They take it 2-0. They knock out LGD.int, and tomorrow they move on to face Zenith. Big bad Zenith.
Talk about our TK. He's 7-0 this game. It's either he feeds or he rapes very hard.
ROT, he played... You know, the thing is, he had so many opportunities where he missed Blink Skewer, but the thing is, he didn't waste his reverse polarities there. He was patient, he held on to them, and when it mattered, when they needed the RPs, boy, did he deliver. You also got to point out things like Burning, buying back, and having a Keeper of the Light and QQQ to recall him into the fight. That turned the fight bottom as well. DK, all the little touches were there. Smooth coordination when it counted, and LGD.int had a great start, but a few mistakes in the Marana pick just not really paying off at the end. So Winter... LGD.int are going home. They're done with the G1 League.
Yeah, I didn't expect them to lose here. I was thinking that they were the stronger team here because of the past games that DK were playing. They were playing very sloppy, and LGD seemed to be the team that were playing far a lot better in the last few games.
I think it's a hard matchup for LGD International because DK's style is very defensive, and LGD.int is all about dominating the lanes, exploiting your mistakes, and their early aggression and map control. And DK, in this series, did not show too many mistakes, aside from RTK. RTK got caught out a few times. In Game 1, he took Shadow Strike over Blink, died a few additional times where maybe he didn't need to, but overall, this was mistake-free Dota, by and large, by DK. And LGD.int, I feel they're reliant on those mistakes to win.
The only time they made a mistake this game was at the bottom side when they tried to kill Pycard with the Rasta and the Juggernaut, and both of them didn't have their ultis.
And I feel like for LGDN, it's just that's their style. It's not a good or bad thing. That's just the kind of team they are. Is they go aggressive early, they force mistakes, and then if they can force them, they win. They control the map, they break the base quickly. But when it doesn't go that way, when the game develops differently, this is a team that generally, they have that one late game win. But aside from that, they generally struggle to take it late game, and another game where they just struggled in the late game. So DK will be moving on, and for LGDN, they'll be going home. Winter, thank you for joining me to cast again today. It was a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thank you to you as well. And I think one of the more important things I want to say as well is Misery not going for the dagger, so they couldn't control the fights, how the fight started. I think that was also very crucial, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have another initiator. You can't count on Arrow. You can't count on Split Earth. And
yeah, there was only the Impale, and he chose to go for the Dagon instead of going for the dagger when he could have afforded it.
Well, in the end, it will be LGDN going home. DK Advance. So, Winter, before I let you go, any closing thoughts? Anything you want to shout out or plug?
Just have to say DK. I think I have to agree with you. They are certainly the other team other than IG that are extremely talented and a team that hasn't showed their true potential yet. In this best of 3 against LGD, they showed that what they are capable of. And I think if they didn't make any mistakes, they would have destroyed LGD even far worse than how the game progressed.
It's a team that hasn't played much competitively until recently. So, I mean, they've obviously been scrimmaging, but we haven't seen them in too many official matches. They weren't in the GEST Challenge. They got knocked out early in the G League. They had a very long break from competitive officials, and as we see them play more and more, seems like they're starting to find their stride. But they're not done yet. They will play Zenith tomorrow. They must defeat Zenith to move on to the LAN finals, and that will be a tall order, because Zenith is a team that has given DK fits up until recently. But guys, that's another story for another day. For now, thank you all very much for tuning in. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you joining us for the broadcast. We're done for today. We have one more match. It's all down to this. DK versus Zenith. You win, you're in. You lose, you go home. It's a best of 3. It goes down tomorrow at 4:30 PST, which is 13:30 CEST or 19:30 SGT. Thank you all for joining me. I'm LD. He's Winter. If you enjoyed our casting, be sure to follow us, twitter.com/LDDota, twitter.com/WinterDota. This has been a broadcast, a presentation of the G1 Champions League, and for now, we're signing off.